diet, okay? Those are the first two. I also have on there, don't watch so much TV and don't substitute it with the internet, right? And I'll tell you what, all these things will begin to work together, because if you go to bed early, you're not watching as much TV, plus you're going to be more prone to eat right, okay? So, I mean, there's a lot of things we need to be doing, and I'm just suggesting that we just get serious and recognize that going on a spiritual journey is more than simply reading the Bible and going to a Bible study and praying some more. There are other things that we need to do so that we might enhance this spiritual journey, and that's all I'm sharing with you today. Okay? So it's all about the flesh. And we have situations. We have loneliness. Some of us are lonely. That's flesh. Self-pity, right? That's all loneliness is flesh. What do you do? Well, go read a magazine, read a book, get some education, go to school, find a community organization that's doing something with people and get involved in it. Do something positive. You won't be lonely anymore. And go to bed early. A lot of our lonely feelings and a lot of our temptations, even to stray and to do things that are not quite right, happen at night. Remember that old song, "The Freaks Come Out at Night"? Well, sometimes the freak in us comes out at night too. Go to bed early. And you'll sort of avoid a lot of the issues that come to you when you stay up late at night. So, I mean, this is kind of a let me just end with this little verse, one more verse, since I've been this is a strange kind of program, but I got really frustrated because, I mean, having been in the church for so many years, and being an elder for 8 years and a pastor for 8 years, and I've seen all kinds of folks that were way more spiritual than me, knew more Bible than me, studied more than me, went to church more than me, and less, some. But what I've seen, I've noticed that the more Bible insight folks have, it really doesn't have anything to do with the ills and the issues that they're experiencing in their life. And as I understand, we're supposed to be walking in sort of a peace, in the midst of the storms, when other people are suffering, we're supposed to be well. But we don't have that peace. The ills in the world are the same as the ills in the church. Why is that? We need to recognize that the key is the flesh, and we have to begin recognizing it's the flesh that needs to be denied. We have to quit. Now here's a key. We have to quit wanting so much. We have to stop somewhere. Years ago I was in like the real estate, business, and I was buying a lot of properties. And I have a family relative that's really financially well, sort of like the stock market and other kind of things. But that family member came to me one day, and this family member was wealthier than I ever was. And I was like buying properties, like maybe once, I was buying a lot of properties. And he came to me one day and he said, when is it going to be enough? And I just laughed. I thought that was ridiculous, but there was some profound insight in that statement. You have to make a determination and say, okay, enough is enough. You have to determine, I have enough. Stop wanting so much. Be content with what you have. Now, I don't mean live in abject poverty or asceticism or anything, but I'm simply saying that there has to come a time when you're satisfied and you're well, and then you begin to exist. And you begin to pray, and you begin to meditate, and you begin to enjoy life. Chase that carrot. We live beyond our means, and we never find any rest. That was another one. Rest. We need to find more. We don't rest enough. And so if you get more sleep, you'll rest more. If you eat right, you'll be ready to rest more. But we even need to rest while we're awake. I mean, even as I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm working on myself as well. I'm tense. My shoulders are up like this, my brow's kind of furrowed. Sometimes we just have to begin just to relax, let it go. We walk around, especially in this country as Americans, so tense, so ready to do something. And if there's nothing to do, we get sort of, what are we going to do? We have to find something to do, someplace to go. We just have to begin to relax. Just chill out. Quit having to do this. Quit wanting to do this. Quit all that. Just be. I'm telling you, this is when we come to a place of even beginning to hear from God, when we loosen up a little bit, stop being so tense. And when I say meditate, I don't mean some, far message. I don't mean that kind of, thing. When I say meditate, but you can just chill. Just be quiet. In a quiet place with no TV, no radio. And just be quiet. And just breathe. Listen to yourself breathe. 20, 30 minutes of just quiet. We don't do that very often because we always have to do something. When God was speaking to Elijah in the Bible, when he had defeated the prophets of Baal, in that contest and all, and God showed himself mightily in the eyes of Israel. And then Jezebel, the wife of Ahab, threatened him that she was going to kill him, and he took off and he went running scared across the desert. He wound up hiding in a cave, and God spoke to him. He said, "What are you doing in here?" He said, "Well, they're going to kill me. Nobody in Israel," and he's just complaining and freaking out and everything. He's been running and running and running across the desert. Now he's in a cave. God said, "Look outside," and there was fire. He said, "I'm not in the fire." "Look over here. What's that?" "That's wind blowing." "I'm not in the wind." "What's that?" "An earthquake." "I'm not in the earthquake." God spoke to me. He says, "You know where I am? I'm in here. That still small voice. That's the voice of God." What God is telling us even through that scripture is that each of us have within us that still small voice. But we're so busy